So what are your thoughts on Chen/Toh? So what are your thoughts on Chen Toh winning their first World Tour title this year? Chen Tang Jie and Toh Wei won the Australian Open. They beat the Indonesian pair, Hidayatullah and Pesaro, in the final. They had a great tournament. They really did look in imperious form. Now, obviously, Chen and Toh are the world champions, and it's crazy to say that the world champions haven't won any other title this year. So the Australian Open was their first World Tour title of the year, so that's going to be quite an impressive, an important win for them. Probably not as important as the World Championships, but still important for them to get that kind of confidence of winning a World Tour title, especially leading into the World Tour finals at the end of the year, where they're going to really be keen to go one better than they did last year, where they lost in the final. Now, in terms of this pair, I think they've been actually very smart since winning the World Championships, because they've picked. Obviously, there was lots of media attention surrounding them, and they wanted to make the most of that. That's completely understandable. But they've played a limited number of tournaments. They played the China Masters, where they got the runner-up. Then in the European leg, they only played the Super 750s, the Denmark Open and French Open, where they reached the semis in Denmark and the quarterfinals in France. And now, since then, this is their first tournament. They didn't play the Kumoto Masters last week. They didn't play the Hilo Open. Just this, and they won it. So they've been very selective in the tournaments they've played. Now, that could be because of they haven't been able to train as much because of the media attention surrounding it. I know also that Chen Tang Jie has been struggling with a shoulder injury, and he's still, even heading into this Australian Open, was still in recovery mode. National mixed doubles coach Novo Widianto said Tang Jie has recovered physically, but his timing and feeling are not fully back, and that only 1 week before this Australian Open that Chen Tang Jie was resuming full smashes. In terms of their performance this week, I felt Chen Tang Jie protecting his shoulder a little bit. Yeah, of course he was using his smashes, but he used his stop drops a little bit more. He has got a very good stop drop. Okay, he moves very fast. He has the ability to just soften that drop shot, or just turn his smash into a drop at the last second. Really good, and he obviously leaps up very, very well. So he's kind of able to protect his shoulder a little bit, I think, during this week. Now, talking of injury issues, I thought in the final that it looked like Toh Wei might have been struggling a little bit. She had her right calf heavily taped, and I felt that as the match got on, she got a bit better. Maybe it loosened up, but to start with, she definitely wasn't moving as quickly or as comfortably as we usually see her. But having said that, she read the game incredibly well. She moved in. She was playing more the soft shot. She was a lot calmer, I felt, on court, more collective, more efficient with what she was doing. Her reading of the game, I thought, was really good. She put massive amounts of pressure, especially I felt on Jafar Hidayatullah when he was returning. There was a lot of times where he was stepping forward and almost looked a little bit lost as what to do. It's almost like Toh Wei was just kind of like knew exactly what he was going to do next. She was reading that game really well. And I think actually that was a big factor, is that Toh Wei won the nets. The Indonesian pair looked a little flat at the start, but even when they kind of got themselves going, I felt Pesaro wasn't able to impose herself on the game as much. We saw her, like I said to you earlier, she was a deciding factor, I felt, in the third game of the semi-final. But against Toh Wei showed what a world champion can do, and completely controlled and dictated that. Her skill and vision are so good. Changes of angle, pace, her follows, her calmness. Those videos we see on Instagram or on social media where she's talking to Toh Wei and she's a very calming influence. You can see that. I can see that in her game now. For me, the last thing I'll say, it kind of links back to what I said at the start. For me, whenever a pair wins a big title, especially like the World Championships, there's two paths a player or pair can take. It either be motivation for more, or they get a bit too far ahead of themselves or think they've done it and they kind of slip away. And I think the Malaysians are clearly the former. Yes, they've had the injury issues, but they're hungry for more, and they're using that World Championship run as the World Championship title, to push on to more things. Is there anything else I really want to say? Nope. I think it was a good win. I think an important win, actually, for them to win a World Tour title, like I said, heading into the World Tour finals in December.